Hey there. Welcome back to the channel. Let's be honest. When you go no contact, the silence is deafening at first. You check your phone more than you should. You replay conversations in your head. You wonder if they even care that you disappeared. And then it happens. That first text, it's short, casual. Maybe it says, "Hey," or "Hope you're doing good," or "Saw something that reminded me of you." It's not a love letter. It's not an apology. It's a ping, a little emotional poke to see if you'll respond, if you're still emotionally available, if they still have access to you. And here's the trap. That first text isn't always about love. Sometimes it's about control. Sometimes it's about ego. Sometimes it's just their loneliness looking for a distraction, and you're familiar. But you've done too much work to let one message shake your progress. You've endured the sleepless nights, the emotional withdrawals, the moments where you nearly broke the silence. You didn't go no contact to win a game. You did it to win yourself back. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why you must ignore the first text after no contact, not to play hard to get, but to protect the peace you've fought so hard to create. Because that first message, it's rarely about reconciliation, it's about reassurance. And this time, you're not handing it out for free. Stay with me. This isn't just a list of tips, it's a psychological blueprint. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to handle that message with the dignity, clarity, and self-respect of someone who finally knows their worth. Let's get into it. Number 1, it's a test, not a truth. That first message is almost never the full truth. It's a test. They want to see if you'll respond, if you'll fall back into old habits, if you're still emotionally available to them, even after they've been emotionally unavailable to you. Think about it. If someone truly missed you, truly regretted how they treated you, they wouldn't send a vague, "Hey." They'd send clarity, accountability, vulnerability. Instead, they send something lightweight and easy to deny. Why? Because they don't want to risk rejection. They want to keep the door open without fully walking through it. It's like throwing a pebble at your window and running away. Just enough to get your attention, but not enough to have a real conversation. Your silence threatens their ego. It makes them uncomfortable. So this text, it's not a genuine attempt to reconnect. It's an ego check, a "do I still matter" test. And if you respond, you're telling them yes. Yes, they still have access. Yes, they still have emotional influence. And that's dangerous, because they haven't earned that access again. If someone truly values you, they don't test you. They tell you. They show up with depth, not crumbs. So when you see that first text, don't see it as hope. See it as data, information, confirmation that your silence was heard, and that now, more than ever, it needs to be protected. Number 2, their motive may be guilt, not growth. Not every "I miss you" comes from love. Sometimes it comes from guilt. And that's a dangerous emotion to base reconciliation on. When they text you after silence, it's easy to assume they've changed, that they've sat with their actions, learned their lesson, and are ready to show up better. But here's the truth. People often reach out not because they've healed, but because your silence is haunting them. It's not about your pain, it's about their discomfort. They might not like the image of themselves as the one who gave up, disappeared, or hurt someone who genuinely cared. So what do? They reach out, not to fix anything, but to feel better about themselves, to clear their conscience, to make sure they're not the villain in your story. This is not growth. Growth takes courage. Growth says, "I know I messed up. I've taken time to reflect, and I want to take accountability for what I did to you." That kind of message doesn't just show up at 2 a.m. after weeks of silence. It shows up with intention, maturity, and consistency. Guilt wants relief. Growth wants resolution. There's a big difference. If you respond too quickly to a guilt-fueled text, you risk reopening the same cycle. You begin explaining, fixing, or comforting someone who once watched you break. And in doing that, you put their emotions ahead of your healing. Again, don't fall into that trap. Don't confuse guilt with love or a quick hey with real change. Just because someone misses you doesn't mean they respect you. And just because they feel guilty doesn't mean they're safe for your heart. You deserve someone who shows up because they value you, not because they feel bad about losing you. Let them sit with their guilt. It's not yours to carry. And remember, silence, when you've chosen it out of self-respect, isn't a punishment. It's a boundary. It says, if you want a place in my life, guilt isn't enough. Come with growth, or don't come at all. Number 3, it's a pattern, not a promise. When that first message comes in after weeks or months of silence, your heart might skip a beat. You wonder if this time it's real. Maybe they've finally realized your worth. Maybe they've changed. But before you respond, pause and look deeper, not at their words, but at their patterns. Have they done this before? Texted just when you started pulling away? Just when you stopped posting, stopped reaching out, stopped caring? That's not love. That's control. That's a cycle, breadcrumbing at its finest. Breadcrumbing is emotional manipulation. It's when someone gives you just enough attention to keep you emotionally invested, but never enough to build anything meaningful. And the first text after no contact often falls right into that trap. It's the same cycle, dressed in slightly better grammar. A recycled script meant to trigger your hope, not honor your healing. Here's the harsh truth. A text isn't a promise. It's just a notification. What matters is what comes after. Do they follow up? Do they take accountability? Do they speak with clarity, not confusion? If the answer is no, then what you're looking at isn't a comeback, it's a rerun. And every time you reply to a message that comes from a place of pattern, not purpose, you send a message too. You say, you don't need to be consistent, just show up when it's convenient. But you're not that person anymore. You've done the inner work. You've cried, questioned, healed, and grown. So now, before responding to any message, ask yourself, does this message bring me peace or anxiety? Do I feel safe, or do I feel manipulated? Is this progress, or the same story with a new intro? You don't owe anyone a seat at your table just because they sent a text. Let their actions earn their place, not their timing. Patterns can be powerful, but only if you let them repeat. This time, break the cycle. Don't let a breadcrumb pull you off the path of your healing. A message isn't a promise. It's just a test. And you've already passed. Number 4. You deserve more than digital breadcrumbs. A single text after weeks of silence might stir something in you, but before you get swept up in that moment, pause and ask yourself, is this message love or just a digital breadcrumb? A text takes seconds to send. There's no eye contact, no voice tone, no risk, just a few words typed out between scrolling distractions. And if that's how someone chooses to reconnect, casually, without depth or effort, it speaks volumes about where they're really at emotionally. You're not being too harsh for wanting more. You're not being dramatic for expecting someone to show up with more than vague, half-hearted attempts at communication. You're asking for emotional presence, not perfection. You're asking for someone who respects the silence you endured by meeting you with something meaningful, not something convenient. It's easy for them to say, "Hey," or "I've been thinking about you," when they feel a wave of nostalgia. But here's the truth. They had all that time during no contact to think, to grow, to reflect. And if the best they can offer after all that is a single line with no clarity, no accountability, no mention of what really happened, then that's not love. It's ego. It's their need for validation. It's their fear of losing control. You gave too much before. You explained yourself, forgave without apology, stayed when you should have left. But now you've learned. You've stopped accepting emotional crumbs. You've built self-respect, and it's become your new baseline. You're not desperate for connection. You're intentional about who gets access to your peace. So, when that message comes in and your heart jumps, don't immediately reach back. Ask yourself, do I want to reopen something that was never fully built? Because the truth is, if someone truly values you, they'll put in the effort, they'll call, they'll show up, they'll take accountability. A text message is the bare minimum, and you're no longer in the business of accepting less than you deserve. You don't need to prove your worth by replying. You've already proven your worth by walking away and choosing yourself. Let that message sit. Let it echo in silence. Because you now are someone who waits for real effort, not recycled attention. Number 5. They want to reset without repairing. There's a specific kind of message that slips into your inbox after no contact. A casual, "Hey," or "How have you been?" And it seems harmless on the surface. But what they're really doing is trying to reset the relationship without repairing the damage. They want access to the old comfort without revisiting the old wounds. They hope you'll respond with the same softness they sent, so they can slide back in without being held accountable. That's not reconciliation. That's emotional bypassing. This kind of message is manipulative, not always intentionally, but it still serves a selfish purpose. They're trying to soothe their discomfort, not yours. They want the warmth of your presence without the weight of your pain. They hope that enough time has passed for you to forget what happened, or at least to stop bringing it up. But real healing doesn't work that way. You don't get to hit reset on a relationship without first doing the work to repair it. You can't ignore the cracks and hope the structure will stand stronger the second time around. If you respond to this type of message without requiring clarity, you send a signal that your standards are flexible, that your pain is negotiable, that all it takes to come back into your life is a few light words. But you've changed. You're not available for the soft re-entry anymore. You want depth, honesty, effort. You want someone who doesn't just want to resume, but who wants to rebuild. So, when that message arrives, remember you're not being cold by not replying. You're being conscious. You're protecting your peace. Ignoring the message doesn't make you bitter, it makes you wise, because someone who genuinely wants to return will come with clarity, not confusion. They'll acknowledge the hurt. They'll ask the hard questions. They won't try to dodge the past just to feel good in the present. You're not a reset button. You're a person with boundaries, growth, and a story that deserves respect. Let them prove they've changed, not just hope you've forgotten, because love without repair is just a repeat, and you've already lived that chapter. Number 6. Your power lies in your pause. There's a surge of emotion that hits you the moment their name lights up your screen after weeks or months of silence. It feels like a spark, part longing, part confusion, part old wounds reopening. But what you do in that moment matters more than the message itself. Because your power isn't in how fast you reply, it's in whether you pause long enough to think clearly. That pause is everything. It's not silence for the sake of ego. It's silence in service of self-worth. It's the space where you remember who you've become in their absence. You've cried, healed, evolved. You've sat with your loneliness, faced your heartbreak, and begun to rebuild your confidence. So when they finally send that first message, ask yourself, does this text align with the person I'm becoming, or is it pulling me back into who I used to be? Are you reacting from emotion because the attention feels good? Or responding with intention because it aligns with your standards? Taking a pause before responding isn't about playing hard to get. It's about honoring the work you've done on yourself. That stillness is not weakness, it's strength. The kind of strength that says, I choose myself first now. When you pause, you protect your peace. You create a boundary. You regain control in a situation where you once felt powerless. You no longer allow their timing to dictate your healing. And maybe the pause leads you to reply, but from a place of clarity. Or maybe the pause helps you realize that the door you once kept cracked open needs to be shut for good. Either way, that space between the message and your next move is where your emotional maturity lives. You've grown too much to be pulled back by a few words. You've come too far to let one message rewrite the progress you've made. So the next time they text you and your heart skips a beat, don't chase that feeling. Breathe into it. Own it. Let your stillness speak louder than your old patterns, because your silence, backed by self-respect, is more powerful than any message you could ever send. Number 7. You already closed that chapter. When their message finally lands in your inbox, it can feel like hope knocking on a familiar door. Like maybe, just maybe, the story isn't over. But take a breath. Don't confuse the past coming back with the future you deserve. That text isn't a new beginning. It's a flashback dressed as a second chance. You've already lived through the confusion, the waiting, the pain of not being chosen properly. You've cried, questioned yourself, and made the painful decision to walk away. And now, here they are, trying to reopen a chapter they never truly finished, hoping you'll forget how it ended. But this time, you're not the same reader. You've changed. You no longer romanticize what broke you. You've learned the difference between missing someone and needing them. You've made peace with the silence, filled the void they left, and started building a life that no longer revolves around their approval. That message may come with a familiar tone, a casual, hey, or a vague, I was thinking about you. But it's not enough, because you're not hungry for crumbs anymore. You've tasted peace, and now you can't pretend bland comfort is nourishment. Ignoring that message isn't being cold, it's being clear. It's choosing to protect the progress you've made. It's understanding that not every door left ajar should be walked through. Some need to stay closed. So, the draft of the past doesn't chill the warmth you've created for yourself in the present. Your silence is a boundary, a quiet but powerful reminder that your healing isn't up for negotiation. Let them sit with the silence they created. Let them feel the weight of a door they never thought would close. You're not rewriting old chapters, you're authoring new ones. Chapters filled with self-respect, clarity, and love that doesn't come with question marks. You didn't walk away because you stopped caring. You walked away because you started caring more about yourself. And when you finally close a chapter like that with intention, there's no need to reopen it, because peace lives in the pages you haven't written yet. So, when that first text comes, don't rush. Pause, smile. Think about who you used to be when they had easy access to your heart, and who you've become now. You're no longer the version of yourself that tolerated confusion, begged for attention, or settled for almost love. You've grown, you've healed, you've raised your standards. And now, you don't entertain lazy re-entries masked as effort. If they truly want another chance, it won't come through a vague message. It'll come through real change. Ignore the first text, not from pride, but from power, because growth means never going backward. If this video spoke to what you're feeling, hit that like button, drop a comment and share your story. We're building a real community here,